Y'all niggas ever play a game and shit, and you have a good time on it, just to find out that the creator is some type of fucking weirdo? There's two games that I think could have been really big in 2026 if the creator wasn't a fucking weird ass nigga. And that is Yandere Simulator and Bad Parenting. Now I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really play Bad Parenting that much, but I did see like niggas like Corey play it, and it looked cool. But I did play Yandere, and that shit was fun. And you know, it could have been big in 2026. We could have had multiple chapters, maybe even multiple games, if the nigga didn't like kids.
Even if Yandere Dev wasn't a weirdo, the game wouldn't have came out anyways because that nigga refused to work on his fucking game. Yandere Dev is a prime example of a loser ass nigga getting internet famous and letting it all go to his head. Like, think about it. That nigga could have been in talks with people like Scott Cawthon and Toby Fox. That nigga was at one point. But that was before people got sick and tired of him not posting any updates on Yandere Simulator. Yandere Dev had people donating their real life money, their hard-earned cash, for him to work on his game. And don't get me wrong, it's common for game developers to do crowdfund so they can put the money that they get into their game. But Yandere Dev is a different story. Now, I don't have any proof that he did this, but I personally think that not a single dollar that niggas donated to him went into that game. I personally think that shit went straight into his pockets. Why else do you think that nigga was always on live stream playing video games and buying video games? Why else do you think he never finished Yandere Simulator? Why else do you think Yandere Simulator still looks like shit 14 years later? Like, bro, not a single asset in that game is something Yandere Dev created himself. All of them bitches came straight from the Unity store. The main character of Yandere Simulator is literally a free asset model straight from the Unity store. Only thing that nigga did was change her hair color from blue to black. And you expect me to believe that he actually used the money he was given to work on the game? Yandere Dev scammed the fuck out of y'all. And the reason why I feel so passionate about this topic is because Yandere Dev scammed me too. But he didn't scam me out of money, he scammed me out of my time. At one point in my life, I was a huge Yandere Simulator fan. I used to watch YouTubers Let's Play the game, specifically Jay from the Cub Scouts, Bijou Mike, Corey Kinchin, and Jacksepticeye. Like, bro, me recording this video just reminded me how much of a super fan I used to be of Yandere Simulator. I would get home from school, rush up to my room, turn on my Kindle Fire, and just watch Yandere Simulator videos. I remember begging my mom for a PC for Christmas just so I could play Yandere Simulator. Like, I was so much of a super fan that I used to argue with niggas in the comments who would shit talk Yandere Dev. Like, I watched Corey Kinchin's first video on Yandere Simulator back when it only had like 80k views. That was 10 years ago, my nigga. I was 9 years old watching my favorite YouTubers play a game that I was obsessed with that just so happened to not be finished yet. I'm 20 years old now, about to be 21 later this year. I have my own apartment, I pay my own bills, I even have my own PC now. But that same game that I used to be obsessed with for a good portion of my childhood is still not finished. I've been telling you guys a lot of how much of a fan I used to be of Yandere Simulator, but I never told you what made me stop being a fan. Like I said earlier in the video, I used to argue with niggas over this game. Now, I don't have any screenshots of the arguments I used to do because this all happened years ago, and all the screenshots that I did have were on my Kindle Fire that I dropped and broke, so you just gotta take my word for it. But one argument that I will always remember was an argument I was having with somebody in the YouTube comment section of a video about Yandere Simulator. I was arguing with the guy because he was talking shit about Yandere Dev and I was a parasocial little bitch and I was getting pissed off, you know, the normal Yandere Simulator argument. But one thing that happened in that argument is something that I will always remember for the rest of my life. Now, I don't know exactly what he said because again, it was so long ago, but he basically said, I feel so bad for you. You're fanned out for somebody that does not care about you. You're waiting for a game that will never come out. I hope you wake up one day. Now, I remember what I said. I responded to the guy saying, nah, you're just hating. Give it 3 years and the game will be out and you're gonna look stupid. And I moved on because it was just another argument that I would always have. And I completely forgot about it. Some time passes and I get a notification and I click on it. And what do you know? I got a notification from that comment thread. Somebody liked my post. My last comment, you know, the last comment I just said about when 3 years passed. This is so fucking dumb, bro. I wish I had screenshots that I could show you. But yeah, somebody liked my comment and I was just staring at it. Like, the feeling that I felt was like a mix between anger, sadness, annoyance, like every emotion that you could think of, like all in one. That's what I was feeling. And I just kept reading my comment over and over again and looking at the date when I posted it and reading it over and over again, specifically reading the part when I said, when 3 years pass and the game drops, you're gonna look stupid. You're never gonna believe when I posted that comment, bro. You're never gonna believe that. I posted that shit 3 years ago. I posted that comment 3 years ago. That argument happened 3 years ago, and guess what? the game still wasn't out. And that shit right there was what made me stop being a fan. That's what made me stop being a dick writer of Yandere Dev. So what did I do after that? I deleted all of my comments on that video. I deleted all of my Yandere Simulator fan posts and all of my art that I made of Yandere Simulator, and I signed out of the account, and I never looked back. And I woke up. Took me 6 years, but hey, at least I woke up and I moved on. Now, maybe at some point Yandere Dev did have plans to work on his game, but after niggas gave him over $200,000, I think that ambition he had slowly died off. There are indie devs right now that wish their games had half the popularity of Yandere Sim when it was at its peak. There are game devs living paycheck to paycheck right now that probably wish they had a portion of the money that Yandere Dev got, but they still put out games. They still finish their games. They don't get mad at their supporters for asking for updates for the games that they're working on. I didn't even mention that Yandere Dev was basically a YouTuber and he had a fuck ton of ads on his videos. So he was getting paid a lot more than your average game dev. I didn't even mention that Tiny Build sent an employee to help Yandere Dev work on Yandere Simulator. And Yandere Dev fired said employee because he cleaned up his god-awful code and actually made it readable. So like, yeah, we all know Yandere Dev is a pedophile, but unfortunately, he's a rich pedophile. Yandere Dev probably never has to work another day in his life ever again. And he did all of that by lying to his fans and not working on his game. Which, that same game is the reason why he even has that money to begin with. Yandere Dev is still getting money through his Patreon right now. Niggas are still donating to him right now. Now, obviously, he's not getting as much money as he did when he was at his peak or before he got exposed as being a pedophile, but he's still getting money. People are still playing his game, waiting for updates for it. You wouldn't believe how many live streams I've seen of people on TikTok playing Yandere Simulator and just straight up dick riding Yandere Dev. It's just sad, man, because growing up, Yandere Simulator was so important to me. But now, seeing how much of a loser Yandere Dev was, well, honestly, that nigga was always a loser, but yeah. I genuinely believe that Yandere Simulator was just a get-rich-quick scheme for Yandere Dev. None of you niggas in the comments can change my mind. I really do think that. I don't think he ever had intentions on ever finishing his game. He barely had the skills to even make a game. Did you see that nigga's coding? To the people that are still giving Yandere Dev money and are waiting for updates on Yandere Simulator or just hoping that the game is finished, I'm not gonna come up here and bully you or ridicule you because at one point I was in your same position. But you have to let go, my nigga. The game will never be finished. It was never designed to be finished. You have to wake up. You have to move on. And I know it's hard to hear that because you probably invested a fuck ton of time into defending him, buying his merch, supporting him. So having to move on from all of that is hard. Like realizing that you wasted your time on somebody who did not give a fuck about you is hard. But you have to let go. You have to put it behind you. If Yandere Dev was a good game developer that actually gave a fuck about his fans, half of the shit that you're waiting for would already be in the game. Fuck, the game would already be finished and out to the public. But he's not a good game developer. And he never will be. It's just sad that I spent a good portion of my childhood caring about somebody and something that never truly cared about me back.